welcome to Ladyada.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my desk. Happy Sunday, everybody. Got some hardware going on, got some prototypes. Some things came in, some things going out. So let's go right to the overhead because I've got a working demo and I don't, I don't want to mess with it. You know, once you have like a demo working, it's like, I think this cable's broken and I forgot to get another cable today. So this demo is for the Pico tripler. So we did the doubler a few months ago, and then as I've been doing projects with the camera cowbell, I was like, oh man, I really wish I had 3 slots. You know, one for the Pico and then 2 cowbells. So this is my take. You can see like the cable's dying here. I'll just disconnect it for now, and then I'll try to get it working later. I think underneath, I think I've been using this cable. Yeah, you can actually kind of see, well, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the contacts are kind of mushed up because, you know, they're only meant to be used like 10 times, but I've used it like, 500 times. So we've got, right here, we've got the Pico, and then underneath, actually, I'll just show it. There's a NeoPixel connected to pin AD0. And then just like on the doubler, I have a LiPo battery charger here. You can plug in your LiPo battery and you can disable the battery charging if you like. So if you want to use alkaline batteries. And then, a duplicate strip so you can plug in a Pico bell or some accessory over here. Enable switch, so you can see that just, turns everything on and off. And that connects to the 3-volt power supply. And then over here, we've got stomach QT port, so connecting to your standard, I2C sensors. We've got, bazillions of them. Like here's like a random sensor. And then, so that's what we had on the doubler. We had the QT connector was over here, and so the NeoPixel, but I had to swap them because like I couldn't route because I have to connect all the pins through, and I was running out of space. So basically, it was easier to put the NeoPixel underneath in the middle. And this is an iSpy connector, and like it totally works, except like I said, I kind of forgot to. I went shopping this morning, and I remembered the eggs and the milk, but I forgot the iSpy cable. But let me see, maybe I can get it kind of sort of working. Sometimes if I held it a certain way. Okay. Maybe I'll reset this. It's like I hold it a certain way, it works. Okay. Works while I hold it down because I think the cable's damaged. So in this demo, using the iSpy connector, I connect, almost all of our TFTs now have iSpy connectors on the back. So it's a solderless way to connect to displays. This is a capacitive touch display. There you go. Had it focused. Okay, as good as I can get it. And then I have some squares over here. I'll try one more time. Oh, beautiful. It's displaying an image of Adabot that's actually on the micro SD card, so it tests the full SPI interface. And then we have a capacitive touch with an IRQ. So you can use different colors if you want. You can go for yellow, big yellow heart. Testing the I2C and IRQ that way, and then the backlight, which if you saw in the beginning, the backlight was off and then turned on. It turns it off until the micro SD card is loaded and the image is on the screen. So that makes the backlight work, and of course power and ground work. I couldn't connect every pin on the iSpy. Maybe I'll pull up the design real fast. Like it was quite a route. Development, dev boards. Yeah, sorry. Oh, okay. Just load the PCB file up so I can show the routing. And then, I had it profile. Probably would have been better to do this landscape. Do you see, like, I have to pass every wire through to the other side, which made routing the iSpy tough, because I couldn't use the top layer because that was where like the lines that go from each duplicated Raspberry Pi Pico footprint went. So I could do the underneath, and then I just ran out of like basically space over here. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I really worked at it for a couple hours and I couldn't really get more. So not every pin is connected, but I got the entire SPI port, DC, display chip select, um, SD card chip select, touchscreen chip select, and I squared C pins and the interrupt pin. So basically, like TFT displays are going to work great, and I squared C touchscreen. But what isn't going to be super awesome is e-ink displays because I didn't get the busy pin connected or reset, and you don't need those for e-ink, but for the best performance. So as long as you don't care for low power, you can do it. But you would never be able to put the e-ink display into ultra low like sleep mode because you couldn't reset it out. Again, it's one of those trade-offs. Um, so this design's done. I really like it. It's going to be very handy. I want to make a couple more Pico bells. To go to the overhead again, and I'll yes, I did the camera Pico Bell, and we've got like I think we did canvas, we did DVI. I want to do like a little TFT display, sort of like we have on the TFT feathers, like this this color TFT. I think would fit really nicely. I think maybe it would barely fit. I don't know, maybe not actually. It's kind of wide. Maybe I'd have to go for like a thinner OLED or something. But maybe, something that could be a little display here. Or maybe it would not have it would have pins underneath that would plug directly in. It wouldn't do would have like SMT pins. It wouldn't like connect through because you'd always want the display on the top anyways. So maybe I could do that and then maybe have a couple buttons or something. And like the backlight control. So I think that's one of the next things I'm going to do because it'd be handy to have a little touch screen display to like, especially if you're using like CircuitPython, it's kind of nice to have like a color display, tell you what's going on with it. And then you could still again have like, some other hardware connected on this side. So that's the tripler. Will I do a quadrupler? I don't know, maybe. I don't know what else I could add as accessories. Maybe I would just have it be, blank, basically. Just a design, kind of nice. I think it's gonna be good for Raspberry Pi Pico projects. And then you can see it's running off the battery here with the NeoPixel still going. And then you want to really shut it off, you flip the enable switch. Now it's truly off. Okay, so that's hardware number one. Oh, that's been a little more time than expected. This is a prototype I was working on today. So this is a thumbstick Trinkey. So it's, your an analog thumbstick. Plugs into USB, has a SAMD21 on the bottom. So I did get this working. Maybe I'll go to the computer again. I can just run like paint. So, hold on. Okay. So it's a very, not good. Just kind of like messing with it. We Yeah, it's like the smallest mouse in the world. I was using the capacitive touch as the button, but that actually kind of wasn't so great. So I'm redesigning it to plug into. First, I'm going to have a through-hole USB because I think I've used that in a couple of Trinkies recently, and that's been nice, more mechanically stable. Because I think with this, you're going to be like noodling it around with your hand. So first off, it has a USB A port, and then second, instead of capacitive touch, two right angle buttons. You can have left and right buttons, and that way you can actually have like it's basically like a little mini joystick. Not like very ergonomic, but I think if you're just like really desperate, you're like, oh, I just need a really quick, like, analog input, mouse input. So that's the Trinkey I'm working on. So I'm going to order those prototype PCBs shortly. And then, two more things. So, I'm continuing to work on, sorry, I lied. I want to go over here. So sorry, let's go to the overhead. Sorry, different demo. A lot of demos here. So showing off this demo. So another board that I finished is, this is a SEN-5x. or sometimes called, like there's also a SEN-54, and these are all in one: air quality, particulate matter, temperature, humidity, volatile organic compound sensors. And like most PM sensors, particulate matter sensors, there's a little fan that sucks air in, and then it blows the air out here. And in the middle here are all the sensors, and Sensirion's just like really good at air quality sensing and CO2 sensing. I think they're coming out with a version, that the SEN-45, that also has carbon dioxide sensing as well, thanks to their they have the SEN-40. This is so blown out. Why is that? Who knows? So I have to use it though, because of this fan, you need to have 5-volt power, and a lot of boards that use STEM QT or Quick are 3-volt power. So I have here a little adapter. It's really simple. It uses the AP3602 switch cap charge pump converter. So it gives you 3 to 5 volt input, 5-volt output, and it's like very low cost, very simple. It's not very power efficient, but like it doesn't matter. It gives you 100 milliamps. I love it because you don't have to worry about like squeaks or noises. It's efficient enough. Like I said, it won't be very efficient for 5-volt, but for 3 volts, whatever, 80% efficient. It powers this just fine. And then let me see, I think, I've got this little demo here. See here, it's reading the data from the sensor, and then what I'll do is I'll really quickly, I don't smoke or vape, but I do have soldering irons. So, I have here my soldering iron and a little bit of solder, and you can see the numbers on here are like, 1 or 2 micrograms. And then you see very quickly, reacts very fast, maxes out. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? You're dying. Like if all the air was like solder smoke, it would definitely be not good for your health. So this adapter just makes, so we also stock in the store this JST-GH cable, which I'll show. It's kind of a cool cable. Oops. I've never actually removed this cable, so I don't know what it takes to remove it. I don't want to damage it. Hold on. I've only plugged it in. I want to show you the edge of it. I have another one, but let's see. Oh no, you have to press down kind of hard, I think. Yeah, okay. It really has quite a strong latch. I probably should have done this part for the Great Search. Maybe next week I'll do this part for the Great Search. We stock this cable, and this is the cable on the other side, so you just have the same connector, and this is what it looks like. You see the latchy bit, and seats very nicely. It has a little click sound. Really good connector. So this is a very low cost adapter. It's only going to be a couple bucks. This is, of course, more expensive. This is like $25. But that way you can use this with any 3-volt power logic. You can use 3-volt logic on this, but the power again has to be 5 volts. Okay, and then finally, wrapping up here, I've been still doing more ESP32C6 testing. Really wanted to test this feather because it's a new chip, and it's always scary to do a new chip. Trying to test it against all of the feather wings. So the feather wing I was testing this weekend is the RGE Matrix feather wing. In this case, it's actually the NRF52840 pinout wing. And one thing I've noticed, unfortunately, if you use the USB CDC mode, is it really wants you to open up the serial port. But thanks to Jepler, who did the board support package 3 update for Protomatter, because board support package 3XX in Arduino for the ESP32 family really made a lot of changes with timers, RMT, et cetera, et cetera. But he fixed it up. It's smooth here, but on the camera, it's got this weird flicker effect. You don't see that in person. I think the camera is just kind of freaking out from how bright it is. Works great on the C6. You don't get as much processing speed is the S3. So the ESP32 S3 has this really awesome, parallel output peripheral that I think we use on Protomatter, and it gives like amazing, and of course has 2 cores. It's just like amazing quality. But on the C6, you can still, it still can definitely address the data, but it can only do 4-bit depth. So 2 to the 4 colors for this double buffer example. That, still definitely works. What's cool is that, of course, it has Zigbee as well as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So I have a big, maybe you can go back to the computer. I have a big list of all the, I did not mean to open Excel. Hold on. I want to open this in OpenOffice. Okay, I have this big list where I, for every feather, I go through and I test it against like all of the wings, and I verify that they work. I actually did test the ESP32S3 and RP24. It's just for reasons it was in another file and I forgot to copy it over. So I tested a bunch, including the Ethernet featherwing, which worked. OLEDs, UART, NeoPixel works. I2C works great. So the next up is mostly SPI feathers. I'll test those. And then an e-ink, but yeah, mostly, but basically almost all SPI. And then if it's good, I'll order the PCB, which I'm really excited to do. I think a lot of people want the C6 feather. Don't forget to sign up. Oh, by the way, we have the Matrix Portal S3 back in stock. Speaking of matrices, we have these in stock. I know people were looking for them. We did put the C6 feather in as a coming soon. So if you want these, sign up. I'll notify you as soon as they get it in. Okay, let's go to the Great Search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The Great Search with DigiKey.
The Great Search brought to you by DigiKey Native Fruit. Thanks, DigiKey. Every single link Ladyada uses the power of engineering to help you. Yes, you find the things on digikey.com. What are you looking for this week?
Okay. This week I've been working a lot on my ESP32 C6 feather, and I realized maybe other people want to do stuff with the C6 because it's got good support in the Espressif Board Support Package 3, which is in release candidate 1 coming out soon. So let's go to the computer and I'll show this off. So one, sign up if you want the ESP32 C6 feather. It'll also be available at DigiKey, guaranteed. So, but if you sign up, you'll get notified, and then you can pick it up from DigiKey as well. I don't think they do coming soons as much. So the cool thing about the C6 is it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and Zigbee, and it comes in a couple different packages. So I thought we would check them out. So first off, you can always search for your favorite Espressif chip. If you want the exact match, you're going to end up with this, but this is like, watch out. You probably actually don't want this particular chip. So this chip is the basic C6 version, not the FH4 sub version. So this version does have like all of the pins. Let me see if I can show the pin out. Okay. I mean, it doesn't have as many pins as like the S3, but it does have a significant number of pins. It's kind of similar to the C3 in like pin out and size. Crystals and lots of GPIO, and it exposes the pins for the SPI, sorry, the QSPI flash that you need to actually run firmware. So one thing to note is the ESP32, but all of them, unlike many microcontrollers you may be used to, like the SAMD or the ATmegas or whatever, but also like the RP2040, do not have internal firmware flash space. So to actually load code, you need an external chip. Normally, you would wire this up. Let's see, they sometimes have a schematic showing the wiring, but maybe not. Okay, they don't actually have it here. Sorry, to you would normally have to wire up the external QSPI flash to this chip if you wanted to use it, because again, it doesn't have internal memory. However, they do have a version of this chip. If you look for the FH series, it's not that much more expensive. It's like whatever, 20, 30 cents more expensive. But it does have 4 megabytes of QSPI flash already inside the chip, like bonded in, so that all the pins are like connected together. Those pins are still exposed if you like wanted to, I don't know, like look at them, but you couldn't actually use them as GPIO. So watch out for that. Like you have to remember which ones they are so that you don't accidentally try to connect a peripheral to them that isn't like related to the internal QSPI memory. However, if you don't want to do the antenna stuff, you can also get the ESP32 C6 in a couple different versions with antenna. So this is the transceiver ICs is just the raw chips, and like you'll see here, they do say like this one has memory, this one doesn't. It says here like it has 30 GPIO, but remember you're going to use a bunch of those GPIO for flash memory, so you don't actually have that many GPIO because they're going to be taken. So that's why not a lot of people buy the bare ones unless you happen to want like a lot of flash memory, like more than 4 megabytes, in which case you would wire it up yourself. But what is better to do is to get the modules, which I personally like. So the module that I'm using here is the mini style, and it's very compact, but it doesn't have as many GPIO as, I don't think they mentioned the number of GPIO. It doesn't have as many GPIO as the Waroom version. So there's 2 versions, the Waroom and the mini. And if you look at the product selector, which if you go to like products.expressive.com, this is what I kind of use because, for example, I was like, oh, is there a version with PSRAM? They'll give you a list of every product available. So let's say you want like the C6 series. So they'll, my screen is all compact. So I can't get rid of this. But they can show you, all right, so if you look down here, they have the Waroom 1, Waroom 1U, another Waroom 1, but this one with these have 4 megabytes, these have 8 megabytes. They also have a version 8 megabytes. U means external antenna. Oh, here, expanded. There's also a version with 16 megabytes, which is like a lot. And then the mini, and you notice the mini has 1 less GPIO. The mini is also only available with 4 megabytes of flash. But one thing to notice is they all have the same amount of SRAM, 512K, ROM, which is the boot ROM. You don't actually get to use that for anything. So like ignore that. It's like not for your use. And none of them have PSRAM. So this chip is not designed for use with PSRAM. Like you're not going to use it with external like large 2 megabyte RAM chip that you would use for storing data. It's meant to be low cost. To be honest, I personally like the mini, but the Waroom is also good, and all are stocked. The mini is also a little bit less expensive, and so I kind of prefer that a little bit too. So we just want like the ones from Espressif, and then let's say we want with antenna, and you can get. I'll show you UFL. So on the Waroom 1U, it's smaller. So they're very compact, but you have to connect an external antenna. And here's like a trick. The other ones, the mini, are probably not UFL. I believe they're WFL. Let's take a look at the data sheet real fast, because I'm like pretty sure. And then there's the H4 and the N4, and I believe that is, that's a temperature. So N or H4 at the end means how much flash memory is included. And if you see H, it means high temperature. It's good up to 105 C operating, whereas the N is normal temperature. It's up to 85 C. I personally am fine with 85 C. antenna, I believe, like I said, this is WFL. Yeah. It's actually a WFL antenna, not a UFL antenna, and that totally tripped me up. So watch out for that. But again, you know, I don't often, sometimes I make variants of the boards with WFL, but let's go for the PCB trace and see what's available. So for the PCB trace, yeah, you're going to get the rooms N8 and a UFL with 8. But you know, like I said, I really like the mini N4. And it's like super cheap, $2.50. For $2.50, you get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 2.4 gigahertz Zigbee with like, thread and Matter support. And what's cool is that there's only one antenna, and it actually like shares them, so you can actually have like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and Zigbee running, and it will like correctly jump between protocols for you, so you don't have to do any like funky antenna stuff. So this is somebody were asking me what chip I used on that feather. This is the module, and this is my pick for the Great Search. They have lots in stock.
That's the Great Search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The Great Search with DigiKey.
Alrighty, that's our show. We'll see everybody throughout the week. This week we have shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something every single day for all the makers out there. Thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.